Good morning, adventurers. My name is Ben, and welcome to a morning show where I sit around, drink some tea, and talk about D&D. So first up for T&D today, I have this mug with a lovely picture of my dog when he was a puppy on it that my brother got for me, along with a verse from the Torah, because my brother also decided that my dog was going to have a Jewish upbringing for no particular reason. He's not followed through on that great yet, but that is the way it goes sometimes. Inside of it, I have a new kind of tea, actually. My fiance got this one, and it's actually pretty tasty. This is Watermelon Lime Zinger from Celestial Seasonings. It is very fruity, so if you're into that kind of thing, this is probably kind of right up your alley. It is pretty light as a whole. On the whole, it is an herbal tea, so there's no caffeine in it or anything like that. But it's pretty good. I am enjoying it, which is weird, because I don't usually like watermelon-flavored things. But you get a little bit more of the lime than the watermelon. Not the point. What we are talking about today, I am very excited about because I have been thinking for weeks now, man, we are due to get some Unearthed Arcana, aren't we? And guess what we got last week? We got some Unearthed Arcana, man. Yeah, we did. I'm super excited about it. I wanted to make a video about it, like, as soon as it came out, but I was like, okay, hang on, let's stop, let's read this, let's really read it, make sure we know what we're talking about, and then let's talk about it. So, we're going to be talking about the Unearthed Arcana, the Heroes of Krynn, that have been released for almost a week now. They came out last Tuesday. But let's talk about it, because I feel like with D&D Beyond not pushing Unearthed Arcana anymore, it is actually way less likely that people just kind of know about this outright. If you do know about it and you have somehow had the chance to try any of this, please let me know about it, because I want to know how it's working as a playtest material. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I'm really excited about this one. This is actually really cool, I think. So there are 4 different sets, essentially, of things here. They have one new race, one new sorcerer subclass, a couple of different backgrounds, and then a slew of feats that are included in here. And we're going to hit on each one of these real quick here. The race is called the Kender race. It is largely humanoid, or largely human in appearance, with slightly pointed ears. It honestly sounds kind of like a half elf almost. They are really pretty cool. It sounds like they are kind of like almost like plane hopping toddlers, like accidentally plane hopping toddlers, because they just kind of end up with stuff in their pockets. They follow the same sort of setup that Monsters of the Multiverse does. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, it is the first episode of this season, where I ran through, is it worth buying Monsters of the Multiverse in the like big pack? The answer was maybe, if you don't have the other books yet. But Monsters of the Multiverse is coming out in May, so be looking forward to that. But so they have creature type, size, speed, and a couple of smaller features for them, but they don't have ability score improvements. They don't have height and weight stuff. It's all kind of up to you on that one. I'm excited about this one. I do hope it becomes real, because I love playing chaotic characters, and they are small, and I love playing small characters. This is they're small humanoids with a walking speed of 30 feet, which is cool because, you know, small characters are usually 25. They have the Brave feature, which gives you advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the Frightened condition, which is like kind of niche, but also pretty cool. They also have the feature Kender Ace, which, starting at 3rd level, you possess a magical ability to pull an item out of a bag or another container. As a bonus action, you can reach into a container you're carrying and roll on the table to, like, pull out just an item. It shimmers softly, disappears after an hour. You can use it as a bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus between long rests. You can pull out of this random case, bag, satchel thing, 5d6 gold pieces, one simple weapon of your choice that has the light property, one item of your choice in the adventuring gear table in the player's handbook. The item must weigh no more than 1 pound and cost no more than 1 gold piece. One random item from the trinkets table in the player's handbook, your choice of a crowbar or grappling hook, or a item of your choice from the tools table in the player's handbook that does not cost more than 10 gold pieces. That's such a weird feature, but it's honestly super fun, and I'm really excited about it. I like it a lot. I am fascinated to get to play this. I do hope there is a stream game that I'm supposed to be a part of in the future coming up here, that I am playing what I expect to be a just kind of insane, crazy character that's a little bit on the unhinged side, and this would be a really good race for it to work with. I need to check with the DM, and I want to have this get published as a thing so that I can actually use it. In addition to that, they get the taunt feature, which allows them to like hone in on a creature's raw nerves and craft a taunt that flusters the creature. As a bonus action, you can unleash a barrage of insults at a creature within 60 feet of you that can hear and understand you. You must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier, or it has disadvantage on attack rolls until the start of your next turn. You can use the bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus between long rests. That's really good. That's like a ramped up version of cutting words almost. Honestly, that is a very, very good thing. They do get a saving throw, so like, you know, they have the ability to resist it, but for like a bard, that is a very good thing to have in your back pocket, genuinely. And so that's the Kenda race. I am excited about that. I like it a lot. I think that they do a good job of giving it a couple of unique features while still making it general enough to where people can make it what they want as they get into it. And so I think that it would be really, really cool to get to see it like come to fruition, like become its own thing. I would be I'd be irritated if they published it as part of Monsters of the Multiverse. I don't think they will. I think we're too close to that. But if they published it as part of the new Monsters of the Multiverse as opposed to the one that was sold in the set, but given that they sold the set 4 months before the single book comes out, honestly, I could see them pulling something like that, which would be just really frustrating as somebody who did end up buying the set so that I could see the book early. But I think that it's all going to come out in its own book because all of this stuff is connected to Dragonlance, which I was thinking we were going to get last year with Fizzbands instead, or when they gave us Fizzbands instead, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Dragonlance coming this year. Next up, we have our Sorcerer subclass. I'm really excited about this one too, because I really do like Sorcerers a lot. I'm extra excited about this one because I love, if you have read up on any of my homebrew stuff, I really like space and like the like astral kind of stuff in this, and this is the Lunar Magic Sorcerer subclass, and it's got a really cool mechanic kind of associated with it. Starting off at level 1, you get the Moonfire feature, which gives you the Sacred Flame cantrip, but you gain the ability to target 2 creatures that are right next to each other with the Sacred Flame cantrip for free, which is cool because usually you'd have to twin spell that. So that's a really cool thing you just kind of get to do. Also at first level, you get a spell list, which is awesome. I really wish that all sorcerers came with their own spell list, because a spell list is such a huge asset to a sorcerer because they learn so few spells total that it is one of those things where you like have to have it almost. But the cool thing about the Lunar Sorcerer as a whole, and the Lunar spell list in particular, I guess, even though it kind of extends through the whole thing, is that you also, it is a 3-track subclass as a whole that runs all the way through all of the features. You can either have full moon, new moon, or crescent moon spells or features as you go along the way, and you can change the phase that you're in when you finished a long rest, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can choose what lunar phase manifests its power through your magic. Full moon, new moon, crescent moon. I read another part of that paragraph and it was confusing me. Sorry. And while you are in that sort of thing, you can cast the associated like phase spells of your lunar spell list without expending a spell slot once. And once you cast a spell in that way, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. But that's really good. Like, you can get a free 5th level spell out of that. That's crazy. And honestly, the spell lists themselves are very good. You've got things like Fairy Fire, Sanctuary, Moonbeam, Blindness, Deafness, Darkness, Death Ward, Phantom Steed, Bestow Curse, Hallucinatory Terrain, Freedom of Movement, Mass Cure Wounds, Mislead. Like, there's some really, really good stuff in there. And so it is a potent spell list to begin with. Moving on to 6th level, you get a new feature. You get the Lunar Boons feature, which means that you get special stuff based on which phase of the moon that you're in. You get the ability to each of the phases of the moon that you have are associated with 2 different schools of magic. If you are casting a spell from those schools of magic, you can reduce the cost of the sorcery points associated with meta magic you're using on those spells by 1, minimum of 0. So you can cast meta magics for free with those spells a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regaining all expended uses when you finish a long rest. But you can like twin first and cantrip spells for free several times per long rest, which is incredibly potent, like so good. You can quicken spell stuff for half the cost. You can distance spell stuff for free. Like it genuinely kind of blows my mind that is an actual option in this subclass, because it is very good. But at the same time, it does make sense because it is within balance. It seems like, obviously I haven't gotten to play this yet, but it seems like it is within balance to a degree. In addition to that, also at 6th level, you get Waxing and Waning, which allows you to, as a bonus action, spend 1 sorcery point to change the phase of moon that you're in. So you can, like, this turns into a combat ability at level 6, where as a bonus action on your turn, you can snap into a different phase and immediately gain all of the abilities of that phase. You drop all the ones of your previous phase, obviously, but, like, you get some new cool stuff, which is pretty cool. Moving on from 6th level, we go to 14th level, because sorcerers have a weird, like, dry spot in the middle there in terms of subclass stuff. They get stuff for themselves in there. But at 14th level, you get Lunar Empowerment, which, again, based on the phase that you're in, changes the way that your magic kind of affects stuff and the way that you affect things. Full Moon, you shed Bright Light in 10-foot radius and Dim Light for an additional 10 feet. And creatures within that bright light radius have advantage on saving throws. New Moon gives you advantage on stealth checks, and you have attack rolls against you have disadvantage as long as you're in dim light or darkness. Pretty cool. And the Crescent Moon gives you resistance to necrotic and radiant damage, just straight up. That's really, really good. Really, really cool. And then finally, at 18th level, you get the Lunar Phenomenon feature, which obviously, as it kind of sounds, it's kind of like a burst ability for the most part, rather than like these continuous features that a lot of these other ones were. Let's see. As a bonus action, you can tap into your special power. So this is bonus action stuff on your turn. Alternatively, as part of the bonus action where you use your Waxing and Waning feature, you can immediately use the power of the lunar phase that you are entering into. So you can pair it with a Waxing and Waning thing, which is also incredibly good. Full Moon, you radiate intense moonlight for a moment. Each creature within 30 feet of you must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC or be blinded until the end of its next turn. In addition, one creature of your choice in that area regains 3d8 hit points. That's a hefty bonus action heal right there. The New Moon allows you to momentarily emanate an oppressive gloom. Every creature within 30 feet of you, of your choice, must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or take 3d10 necrotic damage and have its speed reduced to 0 until the end of its next turn. So it can't move, which is really, really good. In addition, you become invisible until the end of your next turn or until you attack or cast a spell. And then the Crescent Moon allows you to slip through light and darkness. You magically teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 60 feet of you. In addition, you gain resistance to all damage until the start of your next turn. Resistance to damage for spellcasters? Very good. Once you use a phase's bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 5 sorcery points to use it again. And the way that I read that is that you can use each of the phases between long rests without having to spend sorcery points on it. That might be a interpretation thing that I'm throwing on there, but that is what I get out of it, which I think is really, really cool and honestly very powerful then, because again, that's a bonus action on your turn for 1 sorcery point, or for 1 sorcery point, because you have to transition between the different phases. So that is the subclass. I really like it. I think it's really cool. I think the 3-track sort of thing for it adds a lot of like additional strategy to being a sorcerer, which sometimes is lacking because of their limited spell list, but they have a lot of flexibility that they bring to the table. So the strategy built with the flexibility is really, really cool. Moving on from that, we are going to backgrounds next. These are pretty standard backgrounds, honestly. I don't really care about backgrounds when they end up coming out most of the time. These are the Knight of Solamnia, there we go, Solamnia, and the Mage of High Sorcery. There is nothing crazy about these backgrounds. The Knight feature, like the special feature that the Knight gets, is that you get the feat associated with it, presented later in the Unearthed Arcana. And in addition, those Knights provide you with free lodging and food at any of their fortresses and encampments. So you have to have that as like part of your game world in order for it to really be relevant for that. And then almost identical to that one, the Mage of High Sorcery, you get the Initiate of High Sorcery feat later on in this document. In addition, they provide you with free modest lodging and food at any occupied tower of High Sorcery for 1 night at the home of an organization member. Like, they're not particularly exciting. You have to have those specific people in there, but you could use it. You could take it. You could morph it a little bit to give yourself a little bit more of the, like, or to fit your game world a little bit more. Like, they aren't necessarily going to be the thing for you, but you could take it and morph it to make it part of your game world and to fit one of the organizations in your game world. So it is a nice little setup for that specifically. Going from there, we head into the feats. I don't love the feats. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really love the feats. And here is why. Here's why. We don't have yet stacking feats really in 5th edition. This delivers on stacking feats, and I don't like that for 5th edition. I know that it was a huge thing in 3.5. I know it's a huge thing in Pathfinder. I know it is like critical to doing like deep, intricate character builds in those systems. But in 5th edition, I think that stacking feats is going to start pushing towards like more number crunchy, path driven kind of things, as opposed to what feats kind of exist as now, which are like cool little mechanical benefits that you can get. And can help augment a character in that way. I don't conceptually like stacking feats for a game that is based more in role play than it is in wargaming. And 5th edition, while it is a combat simulated game, is not a war game so much as a role-playing game. I recognize, I do, that it is not nearly as much of like a straight-up RPG as like most of the Powered by Apocalypse systems, the Kids On systems, those sort of things. But like for D&D, Pathfinder, that kind of TTRPG, it is a role-play game. And so there are several different feats here, 10 total, that are, 3 of them are like your baseline feats, 2 of which are associated, 1 each with those backgrounds that were presented, and then there's one called Divinely Favored as well, which is actually, it's kind of cool. Divinely Favored gives you the Thaumaturgy cantrip and a 1st level spell based on your alignment. If you ever use alignment, really, most people don't really use it that much anymore. You can it's kind of like a magic initiate sort of thing, but you get the spell based on your alignment as opposed to a class, and you can pick what your spellcasting ability is out of the 3 mental quote unquote stats, which is cool. Like it's cool. And so like you get the spell based on your alignment. Evil gets a warlock or wizard spell. Good gets a cleric or wizard spell, and neutral gets a druid or wizard spell. Like that's pretty cool. That's all right. But then 7 of the feats, 3 for the Initiative High Sorcery, 3 for the Squire of Solamnia, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong because it just sounds like I'm saying salami, and 1 for divinely favored. All have prerequisites of 4th level and the previous feat in its like tree. And I don't like that. I don't want that to be the direction we go. I understand that like it's kind of inevitable to a degree, but I don't want that to be the direction that we go. I'm not that's not my bag for this game. I know that a lot of people would enjoy it. I wouldn't really enjoy it. I don't think I'll use it in my game if it does become official material. I might use it for like a weird power build every once in a while if I need to, but like it's just not something I'm looking forward to if that is a direction that we actually start to go. You can check them out for yourself. They are like, they lean into the archetypes of these different orders that are presented here, in spite of the fact that we don't get any order lore. So like it's kind of hard to like flesh out exactly what they're talking about there if you don't know much about Dragonlance, which I don't know the most about. I know it's got a lot of dragons in it, so I do like it, but I don't know like deep lore about it. But that is everything I have to talk to you guys about today. I've gone long already. Thank you so much, or not thank you so much. We're not at that part yet. We are moving on to shows that are happening today. It is Monday, which means we have a pretty long list of shows, so stick with me here real quick. If you've made it to work and you're sitting in your car waiting for me to shut up, like 1 more minute, I promise. Today we have The Paper Dungeon, Chromatic Dice, Beyond the Realms, Unprepared Casters, Greetings Adventurers, Bards of New York, Hapless Heroes, Island Adventures, Cast Party, 3 Black Halflings, Hello from the Magic Tavern, King Leo D&D, Anti-Heroes Anonymous, and The Tabletop Tavern. Please go check them out. Please tell them that I sent you. They are all really, really great streams. Every single one of them that I've checked out has been a blast to get to watch. So please, please go check them out. Now, that is everything I have to talk to you guys about today. Thank you so much for making me part of your morning routine. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much in particular to my patrons. You guys are the ones that make this show possible. If you're interested in becoming one of my patrons, there's a link to my Patreon in the description of this episode. That is everything, I believe. So thank you guys so much once again. And don't forget, drink tea, play D&D, and keep on rolling.